Welcome to Conan Carlson's Sci-Fi Station.
Robocop is a 1987 American science fiction action film directed by Paul Verhoeven and written by Edward Newmyer and Michael Miner. The film is set in a crime-ridden Detroit, Michigan in the near future. The exact date is a tough point, as at one point the year 2029 is shown on a computer screen in the film, but apparently the novelization states that it is set between 2043 and 2044. One of the writers has said that they tried to be vague with the date as they didn't want the film to end up looking silly if we hit the date they'd given and technology was nowhere near what they'd shown. So the film centres on Alex Murphy, who is a newly transferred police officer who was brutally murdered by a gang of criminals. The guy's killed in a way which is seldom shown in films. The guy's riddled with bullets, having his hand blown clean off. It's a pretty long drawn out death, especially for a good guy. And the villains of the piece clearly are really getting off on shooting a copper to pieces. There's this massive company known as OCP, which stands for Omni Consumer Products, and they've been trying to provide an answer to crime. One of their ideas that they had was a gigantic military robot with miniguns, but when this solution proves a little bit too lethal, an up-and-comer in the company suggests his new idea for the future of law enforcement, a superhuman cyborg which they will call Robocop. In order to make Robocop they need a human brain. A human brain they get courtesy of poor murdered Alex Murphy. In fact, they get a brain, a face and various other parts of his battered body. Now, Robocop, if you like good action films with lots of shooting, is an amazing film, because you get to see Robocop go about his business of being a police officer. His business, which is mostly arresting people and shooting the living heck out of them. He has a handgun, which is a heavily modified Beretta, which it's just pumping bullets out all over the shop, and it's glorious. I don't want to ruin too much of the film, but it's a great film. It can be enjoyed if you just want a bit of mindless action. There's plenty of things blowing up, but there's more to it. There's so many themes in Robocop. It talks about the media, gentrification, corruption, greed, privatisation, capitalism, identity, dystopias, human nature. It's really got layers and layers to it. You see, Murphy's murdered and brought back to life as this machine Robocop. And on the surface level, he's got prime directives he has to follow, and he's like a piece of hardware being run by software, but in the back of there's a man, there's a personality, and you get to see it struggle with the idea that it's now not a person, it's this new part man, part machine. And you get to see it sort of puzzle with its own sense of humanity while also doing its duty, but as well looking for those that murdered it. I won't spoil too much. It's a great film. I highly recommend that you watch it. And some of the things that are in it, like the over-the-top advertisements, massive companies encroaching more and more on life and government, they're things that have started to come sort of true nowadays. Okay, that's Kerr 9000 signing off, saying keep on watching those movies.